Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, I'm going to get into some letters that I've got from commercial companies. Now, there's this notion that because we were doing, we were fan subbers and we were, fan subbing Japanese animation, you know, without any sort of, authorization or permission from whether, the Japanese owners or even from American interests, that we are, some sort of adversarial or enemies or something like that. And this is not really the case, actually. Our relationship was actually fairly, very amicable. Okay, so in this episode, I want to go over just some of the letters I got in there, just sort of indication that we did have constant communication. So before I begin, I'd like to remind everyone to go down below, click like, and click subscribe. Definitely does help with the YouTube algorithm, as well as if you just want to do a simple support, just clicking that like, that is a great way to support me. If you want to support me financially, I have available the PayPal and my Patreon account, which allows basically subscribers to get some extra content. And again, I've got my next batch coming up very soon, so hopefully I'll be able to get that out, and hopefully by the end of the month, I think I should be able to get that ready. Again, some new content for the subscribers, as well as the super thanks down below. If you just want to hit that as well, that would really appreciate that. And again, I'd like to thank all my supporters for that. It does really help, actually. All right, so today's episode is about the indication of the our relationship with the commercial companies. Again, one of the things that we did as a fan subber is that we want to basically help promote the industry, right? It's about trying to get anime to the fans and that kind of stuff of anime that just couldn't get it normally any other way, right? Because it's such a new sort of kind of a genre, and not a lot of people could get it, and not a lot of people knew where to get it even. So this thought that whenever like an American entity, like let's say US Manga Corps or Animiego or AD was going to license a particular type of anime, there was a thought that there might be some sort of hostility or some sort of animosity between the fan subbers and the anime companies because when this happened. And of course, that's not really true, actually. So I've got some letters here from US Manga and from Animiego, just to go over just some of the things that they talk about, and they outline some of the new releases that they come up. Because again, at this point, the fan clubs and the anime subtitles and that kind of stuff is probably one of their very fewest sort of very dedicated markets that these commercial companies would like to tap into, because there's without our word of mouth, our sort of groupings and that kind of stuff that we've already done, it's very difficult for these anime companies to basically advertise their this anime that they have now going to try to release from scratch, right? Because basically they have to do everything from basically from the very bottom up, right? Whereas a fan club has sort of already kind of done that. I mean, we've already sort of went into all the comic book stores. We've already kind of put our notices on the the libraries and onto our campuses and that kind of stuff. And we sort of got the attention of the anime fans, or people that even have the remotest interest in anime. We've kind of got them sort of together, put them into clubs, maybe have some meetings and that kind of stuff where they can come once every week, month, whatever it happens to be, but we've had probably the best sort of input and the best sort of, shall we say, database, if you will, at that time, to the anime market. So again, these companies were very interested in tapping into that. So that's why they want to make sure that we're on good working relationships with the companies. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go right to the to some of the letters that I've got here, just telling us what some of the new releases that these kind of companies have come up with, and sort of kind of go over them. Right. So without further delay, let's begin. Okay, so here my first letter here is from Animiego. Okay, and this is dated July 9th, 1991. Okay, and this is a letter that was personally sent to from Animiego to me, and basically it's just giving me the press information about this new anime that they're releasing, and they're going to release this new thing called the Bubblegum Crisis, right? So 1991, the upcoming releases is the Bubblegum Crisis, and of course it thanks us for the support for their first two releases, which is Madox 01 and Riding Bean, okay? And basically that's also giving us the opportunity to give the club, the anime fans, some discounts if you can get some multiple orders and that kind of stuff. 25% on orders to clubs with 5 or more copies, right? So if you got 5 people that are willing to buy a copy of this, they'll give you some discounts. So this is a nice way to kind of market directly to the fans of the anime, right? I mean, I remember we did do a some of the fan subs for Bubblegum Crisis, but this is an opportunity for us to now get the actual official copies of it, but also now promote it within our club and within our our video viewings that we usually have every month. We can actually now bring out and show the commercial release that came out from Anime Go. The letter continues on with kind of a funny statement, actually. If you send us a list of names and addresses of the individual fans who are ordering, we will place their names on our mailing list so that we can, so they are also informed individually about the future endeavors. Which is kind of really good because, in the modern day, isn't this literally like selling out your names and addresses? I'm sure that violates some sort of privacy kind of information but then again, see, back in 91, right, the only way that you can communicate and contact other people is through the mail system and through phone numbers and that kind of stuff. So now with the way the internet is, sharing this kind of information has greatly changed, right? So it's interesting that they put that kind of a note there. And then they continue down below. So it's, feel free to use the information contained in this newsletters and enclosures to spread the word. The lightsabers will invade America in August 30th, 1991. So this is when they basically have decided that they're going to do the first release of the Bubblegum Crisis starting in August. Now you got to realize, Bubblegum Crisis came out in '87. So this is already in this case 4 years ago, right? We had fan subbed episode 1 and 4, I do believe, already 2 years ago, right? In the end of '89 and beginning of 1990, right? So fan subs of this stuff has already been out almost a year, quote, 2 years already, right? Before they release this out. So again, this gives you an indication of the shelf life, right? So even if you spent, a whole days, a week, making sure that you fan sub it and you got all the titles and that kind of stuff already and that kind of stuff. Well, by the time you get it all finalized and you start distributing copies and people hear the word that you've got the Bubblegum Crisis and that kind of stuff, you only had a year and a couple months basically before they get before it comes licensed and it's already available on by Anime Go, and it's already on the shelf, right, by I said August the 30th here. So so this is what I mean by shelf life of fan subs can be very, very short. And so We didn't put a lot and invested time in doing any one particular title because a commercial company like this could pick up a title very very quickly, and then all your work kind of goes well. I guess we don't need that anymore. Whoosh, and then you kind of toss that aside, right? So just to kind of note that because a lot of people were kind of really picky and really hard in terms of standards for fan subs, not realizing that this is only an intermediate sort of median to pass on the translation to the fans. I mean, because in of course hoping that the commercial companies will hurry up and pick up their titles sooner, right? Now the next letter is also from Eniego, but I just want to make a note that you notice the date on this one is July 8th. So basically, 1 month after they sent the other one that I just showed you, they sent me another one, which basically just says exactly the same thing. Well, more or less. This is a copy of the press release. But the interesting thing is they added, you may wish to include this information in your newsletters or in your little flyers and that kind of stuff that they have in your next issue of that kind of fanzine type of thing, right? And then basically this is sort of a form of free advertising, right? You're basically you're sending this stuff out and saying, hey, if you put out your next newsletter / sort of magazine or fanzine, feel free to use our information and tell everyone that Bubblegum Crisis is out, type of thing, right? And then they even note, if your publication has paid advertising, please will you send us the information on rates and etc. to the above address for our files, right? So that in the future maybe they might consider actually paying for putting ads into your fanzine. Because of course now this probably only applies to things like the guys over at in Quebec there doing Horticulture Addicts and of course people doing like things like Anime UK or something like that or whatever. Those actual magazines that you may actually find in an actual comic book store, right? But it's kind of interesting that they have that kind of information also available. So again, just prior to the release of this thing, they're really sending out the information, pushing this Bubblegum Crisis thing. Okay, so the next one I've got here goes the one from U.S. Manga Corps, and they mailed me the information package for the release for their new title that they're doing called Gal Force. Okay, so again, Gal Force is from 1986. Okay, they're scheduling the release for 91. So again, 5 years after it actually came out in Japan, they're finally getting to release a U.S. copy over here. Again, Gal Force is one of those first sort of videos that Daisuke was really interested in because he likes Caddy. And so we got that one fan subbed as well and had that available, probably for about 2 years now, right? Now that we'll be pulling this off of distribution so that people can then now buy the Golf Force series from US Manga. And that was, that's the ethnic code for fan subbers, right? We were willing to pull our copies off of the distribution so that the commercial companies, weren't going to interfere with the commercial companies, right? And of course, this is one of those things that totally got lost and forgotten about when digital fan subbing started coming out. Anyway, so as I flip over the page, you can see at the very beginning there, it reads, currently scheduled for release starting spring of 92. U.S. Manga Corps will announce the specific release dates and the pricing of each of the various different types of golf forces. Now, you may also notice that by getting it commercially released, they were able to, and depending on the company, they were able to get the title into their distribution chain or their, supply chain, right? And you can see they've got a whole bunch of different Central Park Media distributors which handled all these different, names, that kind of stuff here. And it's important because all these people are also releasing videos, right? Of course, they're mostly home videos for, whatever happens to be TV series or, syndicated movies or exercise videos or whatever happens to be that they actually make, right? They become part of that distribution channel so that they can get into all the different stores and all the different little shops, make it available to for just basically the business buyer to be able to get that. So it's very important that that kind of distribution and that kind of stuff is present, because remember, there's no way, especially in 1991, that anyone would be able to see what Golf Force would be like online, right? These people actually have to have this, a physical copy of this videotape to be able to see what Golf Force looks like, right? And of course, if not just an actual purchase of the copy, but at least with all this distribution group that they've got there, you're hoping that these people will be able to go to like a like a Blockbuster video or something like that, or maybe an EB Games or something like that, Electronic Boutique or something like that. You could then maybe get a copy from them, or or rent a copy from your local Blockbuster type of idea, right? So that's this kind of distribution and this kind of networking / supply chain was very important at this particular time when these things came out. All right, so I hope you found that kind of interesting. As I said, these are just a couple of the letters that I've gotten. I've got many other things and many other things that the companies have sent us, including videos that we can use at our meetings. Like they've actually sent us DVDs, press releases and that kind of stuff. So not the actual release of the DVD that they were going to put onto the out to the market, but maybe a test DVD that only has maybe one or two episodes, or maybe only has the English subtitle version, not the English dub version, or something like that. Things like that we've been sent, and this is just an indication of how much the anime companies use and want to have a good relationship with fan clubs and fan subbers, so that they can keep on a nice working relationship and basically make use of the advertising sort of tool that we are for these companies. All right. So I thought it was really good. So again, want to hit like and click subscribe below. And we get more episodes where I go into some different types of fan mail and different types of letters and documentation that I've managed to find, and I've kept all these years. So again, it's very interesting to go through some of these just to see what their significance in history is. All right. So until next time, see you again.